Attention! Attention! May I have everyone's attention? It's almost time. So while you're waiting, get a piece of paper out, something to write with. I don't care if it's a pencil, pen, marker, lipstick. I don't care what it is. Then get your movie ready to where all you have to do is press play and get any snacks and drinks you want while waiting, because we're gonna have a blast once we start. Enjoy.
All right, we are back with The Bad Batch, episode 11. Man, it's going by fast. We only got this episode and then 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Almost done. Wow. Oh, man. All right, well, let's get into it. Hopefully it's not a snoozer. All right, let's get into it. All right, and then I'm going to minimize chat. I'll bring it back up and we'll discuss it after. In 3, 2, 1, go. Not skipping any of the intros. Just so that you guys know. Star Wars, The Bad Batch, Metamorphosis. Trying to think what happened last episode. Is that a clone scream? Oh! Dang. What? Oh no! Isn't this a cloning thing that they hinted towards the end of season 1? Oh man, I really hope it's not trying to relate anything to the sequel trilogy. Oh great. I always get a little, like, worried when they do that. Because, man. It feels like they just cannot let go. Is that supposed to be like the doctor or something from the Mandalorian? No. No. No, definitely not. I just saw the face right now. I was just guessing off of just a random guy walking. Ooh. But no, at the same time. So that's what the beginning is. Is that asset? Sheesh. Huh. That makes. Gosh, Tech's an idiot! At least it appears to be a good filler episode. Maybe even a main quest thing. It may turn into that. But gosh, it just angers me with these stupid excuses, lazy writing with that dialogue, man. Lazy. Annoying as well. It's like how does what Tech just said make any sense at all? It doesn't. It doesn't. How does you doing one last job for her gonna like it just feels like a little kid wrote this, man. Oh, and it's stuff like that annoys the heck out of me because it's just like, oh my gosh, do they have professionals working on this? Are you kidding me? Lazy, dude. The potential. The potential. Maybe if we do this one last job. Look at all those claw marks. They use the word human again? What other show did that? I think it was Andor. Use the word human. Is that becoming a Star Wars term now? I mean, I'd be okay with it. That's more of a nitpick thing. If it was, I don't think I've ever heard human. I've heard Homo sapien in Star Wars, but not human, if I remember correctly. Like I said, I'm cool with it though. If it is human. I mean, it's the same thing anyways, you know, but... Then don't you want to get out? What the? What? It's almost... No. It can't be. No, it's not. Okay, good. I was thinking at first, like, almost like a Xylo beast, but that's not what it is. Because I'm like, nah. Kind of has the mouth part, kind of looks like it, though. There's definitely some inspiration happening there. Just always cool. Is it like eating the electricity? It's bigger. It feeds off that? Whoa. The blasters aren't doing anything to it, though. So I'm guessing it just has some thick skin or something? Yeah, what is that thing called? That's definitely new. Dang, that thing jumped, man. That thing jumped high. For its size? That doesn't... That's not a Xylo beast, it's a bait. Nah. No! It is a Xylo beast! What? That doesn't make any sense. I have to think about that. Wow. What, are they gonna eliminate all the witnesses or something? No. That'd be crazy savage, bro. But dude, that'd be so good story wise. Showing what the lengths the Empire will go through. Can't say I'd be surprised. Wow. Yep, they're gonna shoot him, huh? Or they just take him as prisoner? Why would they waste that many jail cells for that? You get that rate, you'd think they'd just shoot him. Right? Maybe that would actually be a bigger hassle than maybe put him in a cell. I don't know. Yeah. Yeah. Or why don't you just go give it to him? That's another idea. Duh. They sit there, and I love the defenders that are like, "Oh, Hunter just wants a normal life for Omega." Yeah, what a normal life! What a normal life that they've been doing. Yeah, they haven't been risking their life every stinking episode for some cargo to stay alive. Please, please, give me a break. That's supposed to be Scorch. Come on, they're not gonna honor that. You should know that. come on, they're not stupid. Like, you know they're not gonna honor that. Like, come on, dude. They didn't honor your original agreement. I just can't stand stupid writing like that. They write these characters like they don't have a freaking brain. Like, come on, dude. All right, I'm pulling up chat. Ridiculous. Good episode though, but some of the writing you just can't really look past like that, man. What's going on, Ahmed and Sabing? How's it going, guys? So what did you guys think of the episode? I thought it was good. Just, I mean, better than a Sid mission, but there were some parts in there in terms of writing that were just the classic laziness. One thing I gotta think about lore-wise, though, is the Zillo Beast. Because this is obviously a hint back from the Clone Wars episode, dealing with the... Here, let me turn it up, my bad. Dealing with the, Xylo Beast. And Palpatine did order to have it cloned. All of what they said was just basically a recap of the Clone Wars episode there. But I don't know how I feel about them continuing that at this point in the game, because it kind of seemed that like Palpatine was developing that obviously as a weapon, right? But imagine if like all the stormtroopers had like, it's overpowered armor, let's be real, you know, but it also at the same time doesn't sound too far-fetched for it to exist in the Star Wars universe, which is makes a lot of sense to why it exists. But I think it would have worked really pretty well story-wise, I feel like, if it ultimately failed, right? That's kind of where I thought it went, right? And that makes sense to why, you know, all these stormtroopers weren't able to have this armor, because if this is, it seems like the case is though that he did succeed, and if Palpatine did succeed with this, why isn't he using it? Because I guarantee you, if like this isn't the only one, you know, if it succeeded way back when, before it even became the Emperor, then there's no shot that there's just that one, you know, and that means they had to have done it before I have to go back and watch that episode, because that means they would have had to have done that and have gotten all the data before it died, right? Because which I don't think was the case in the Clone Wars episode. Like, I'm trying to remember back. I could be wrong. It's been a while since I've seen it. But like, as I try and think back, I think the scientist that was working on it was like talking to Palpatine at the end of it, and like, it was the greatest episode this season. I love the Xylo Beast. I don't know if it's the best one, just because I don't know how it's definitely good. It's definitely in the top 4 for sure. But I still gotta figure out and think about this lore wise, because it's gonna bother me, because now they're saying it succeeded. So I mean, who care? Well, I actually care about what it was in the original Clone Wars episode there, but let's say it did pan out, because technically, who knows? It could have even panned out after that fact. Obviously, it's successful. What is Emperor Palpatine using this for? I feel like we would have seen this maybe used on, who knows, maybe the Death Star, or what do you call it? Stormtrooper armor, or just weaponizing it in general, like other than just the creature. You know what I mean? Because it also lightsabers also couldn't damage it. You know, it's one of the most powerful. What do you call that? Armor, I guess you could say. So the most powerful armor in the Star Wars universe that we know of. So I don't like, what are they still? I mean, obviously they're still trying to expand it and stuff, but you would think Palpatine would already have it at a certain stage at this point. I don't know. And the thing is I feel like they're going to not continue that storyline. Or, I mean, maybe they do, and that'd be awesome. I actually want to know more about it, right? But I also have a weird feeling that they're going to basically do what you said, Sobbing, right? and basically try and relate it to the sequel trilogy, which I really don't want. Is there going to be many Xylo Beasts? No, they said they were going to clone the Xylo Beast. Palpatine ordered the cloning. No, I know. I'm not talking of. Okay, I'm not talking about Xylo Beasts in general, right? Which, I mean, it wouldn't be too far fetched to think that was the one that they saw there that they brought to Coruscant in the Clone Wars was the only one that they knew of. Okay, it wouldn't be too far fetched to think that there could be out there in the galaxy, but that's not like more out there in the galaxy. But that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm saying is, it seems kind of weird to me that, like, there's no way there's just one. They did not just clone it once, is what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. Is it really a clone then? Because obviously we learned a lot more about their species, of like how they don't start, like they start off like somewhat small and they grow big really fast based off of what they eat. So it's like, okay, how much bigger could they really get? Like, was that the max size on Corus, the one that we saw that got brought to Coruscant? Probably not. I mean, maybe it was. I don't know. There's so many questions regarding it. But I'm like, it doesn't really make sense for Palpatine to only have that one asset. And that's what I'm saying. It's like, it died, though. It's like, maybe they got enough information regarding that, but I don't know. Because they're also really intelligent. You know? I think this is going to tie into the Exegol with cloning. I think that's a possibility. I just hope it doesn't. But yeah, there's a lot to think about. I think I gotta rewatch that Clone Wars episode with the Xylo Beast, which I gotta be honest, I'm probably not gonna do anytime soon. I might actually go find it and maybe just watch the ending of it or something, but I don't know how I feel about it succeeding, because if it failed, it makes sense that how like Palpatine didn't use it. But if it did succeed, why don't we see Palpatine use it? You'd think he'd use it like in as many places as he could see fit, right? I just, unless there's some unknowns, which I mean could be possible that we just don't know. Maybe it's like super hard to come by or something in terms of their data, but I don't understand why that would be the case if that's what they're doing and they're cloning it and they were able to clone it once it's even dead, which is saying a lot. Huh. It's a lot to take in. I don't know how I feel about it lore-wise in terms of that. I'm not saying it breaks it. I'm not there, like, in other words, I'm like this. I'm not entirely sold on the idea that it broke lore, but I'm also not entirely there that it's completely there and doesn't break it. I'm kind of on the fence. Mainly because of two things. One, I don't have a good refreshed version of that Xylo Beast episode. I remember a lot of it, but there are some details that I might be missing there. It's been a while since I've seen it. And two, there's so many questions that we need answered regarding it, about a what ifs, which I feel like they're just not gonna do, if I'm being honest. So what are they gonna do now that they don't have? Now let's actually talk about the actual overall show. Okay, now let's see. Sid said, "Don't bother coming back if you didn't get anything valuable." Then they said, "Oh, let's let this be our last job." But it wasn't really a job now that they didn't get anything. So are they going to try and go back? That'd be the dumbest thing ever. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me though, because I mean, they've made 20 stupid decisions up to this point. So why stop now? If that is the case and they're done with Sid, I think that's the best thing we've seen in Star Wars in a long time. Is for them to get off this stupid Sid stuff, at least in the Bad Batch, man. But yeah. No, what is your problem with that, Wolfpack? You've done that in like 3 streams, man. Dark science, cloning, secrets only site new. Stupid guy in Rise of Skywalker is. That's the thing, man. It's like I want it to be like the potential is there, and it's like it could be so good, right? Not just the Bad Batch, but like all the Star Wars shows that they pretty much made up to this point, whether it's the Mandalorian or the Book of Boba Fett, right, or Bad Batch in this case, or even Clone Wars season 7. And forget Clone Wars season 7; they could have just continued Clone Wars, right? All these shows that had the potential to just, oh man, it's just sad to think about. It's just sad to think about, man. But that's Disney Star Wars, man. And I hate to sound like I'm being negative about it, you know, and just being all complaining and stuff, but I'm like, this is the stuff they're giving us, dude. Like, I'm just explaining what they're giving us. It's like, when they put out good stuff, then I'm like, yes, good! And then when they put out bad stuff, it's just like, dude, what are you doing? Quit being lazy, you know? Especially with, like, the amount of time that we wait. And I'm not gonna... It's just, I just don't get it, man. I mean, I do get it. I do get it. They're greedy as heck. And they're still kicking the cow when it's dead on its side, pretty much. Just trying to milk it still. But, man. Ugh. It's crazy. Crazy. Ugh. I think Clone Wars is the GOAT. Same, dude. That Clone Wars is my favorite show. Clone Wars was the best, dude. And that's what I'm saying. Like, I wholeheartedly believe Star Wars would be in a better place if Disney did not buy it. Some people will be like, no, George was done with it. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't done with it. He was continuing Clone Wars. And if people would just go online and just see some of the episodes that got leaked that were like the unrendered, they're just so good. And it's just like, dude, we could have kept getting that Clone Wars. Like, I would 100% have, even if we didn't get the sequel trilogy and all this other stuff, right? Even if we didn't get the Book of Boba Fett show and all this other stuff, right? That sounds cool, right? I'd much rather have just the continuation of Clone Wars of what Lucas was working on, you know, and have that. Then we also have the Star Wars games that people are still working on over there. They had a system going, right? And, you know, I understand Lucas also wanted to spend more, you know, I'm not trying to wipe away the reasonings of why he sold it. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying if it did stay and Lucas was cool with it and his heart was still in it, it would 100% be better than the stuff we got now. In fact, let me put it this way. That's not even really saying a whole lot because I feel like everyone would know that. But let me put it this way. If Disney didn't create anything, it's kind of like let me put it this way. It's really a lose-lose-lose situation on Disney's part unless they made some of the best stuff and hit those high potential things, which they obviously didn't hit. And the reason why I say it's a lose-lose-lose is because if they bought it and made nothing, it'd be a loss because then we wouldn't be getting Clone Wars like we would have been getting. And then if they continued the stuff like they did, right, but it's not hitting at that potential, they also lose because it's not as good as the Clone Wars stuff, right? And then the third loss, I had it, but I just brain farted. But you guys get what I'm saying, you know? Galaxy's Edge wouldn't exist though. Oh, that's another thing I forgot to tell you guys, man. I went to Galaxy's Edge for my very first time with some friends, and dude, it was a blast. Let me just say, you guys know, for those that are part of the channel and kind of know me a little bit, you guys know I hate the sequels. Not my Star Wars. Pretty much Disney Star Wars in general is not my Star Wars. Yeah, I pick and choose things here, but I'm really picky on it. It has to fit within lore and be right, and it has to get that personal canon stamp of approval on it. But let me just say, Galaxy's Edge, dude, the experience when you get there is just fun. It hits on the nose, man. And it just made me think, though, when I was there, and this isn't a downside to Galaxy's Edge, it's just more of along the lines of the potential, once again, right? The potential of what it could be is like, this is what they were able to do with the sequel trilogy, imagine if what they would like, what they could do if they made it like a Clone Wars based world or even an original trilogy one. How much more stuff they could do there is crazy. It's amazing. Um, but yeah, I've considered making some videos. Because I took videos while I was there. I was considering maybe doing not vlogs, but like maybe some videos of some of the rides and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Just for like future stuff. But I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I think I forgot what I was saying though. I was talking about like the lose situation with Disney, and I had the third loss there, but I lost it. But you guys get what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's like, it's just sad, kind of what it's come to. And even like, I normally try and keep it about Star Wars, and not like all the outside junk. But Disney Star Wars, man, it's something else sometimes. Like, they bring the outside stuff out of Star Wars and they try and implement it in. Things that are like morally wrong as well. And for me, that's like, it's a little worrisome because I already know it's coming. I know there's going to be a day where I'm going to have to turn off Star Wars. Sadly. It doesn't need to ever be that way where it crosses the line morally and stuff like that. But it's already there with a lot of other movies and shows. And if it happens in Star Wars, which they already kind of have it in Star Wars, but a lot of it's in like books and like panels at Star Wars Celebration now. It's whatever. And yeah, what's up with Star Wars Celebration not being streamed on YouTube this year? Like, a customer service member like said that. I don't understand why they would lie about something like that, but that's stupid. Kathleen Kennedy ruined everything. I mean, they just definitely stabbed George Lucas in the back too when they made that deal. The whole thing's just kind of a jacked up situation. I'm not saying nothing good can come from it, but I mean, we've seen just from what they have put out since 2012, right? Sheesh, over a decade. There's not that much, and that it also includes with gaming too, because Star Wars gaming would be in a much better place if Disney didn't even get a hold of it, because then we would have never got that 10-year contract deal with EA either. It would have been, LucasArts still. But hopefully Lucasfilm Games is able to step up their game this year since EA's contract ends. They finally realized, hey, we should open it up to everyone, I mean, that's kind of what it was, I believe, with LucasArts at first, too. Like, LucasArts was only limited with, like, these companies, and they realized, okay, we're missing a huge opportunity, let's branch it out. So it's almost like Disney made the same mistake they did, which, I mean, you could argue is, technically it's a different company, but it's like, dude, you're supposed to be learning from not only your mistakes, but also others in the industry. You're supposed to be paying attention to that, which, by the way, reminds me of something I saw today, which I'd highly recommend. I made a little community post about it. It deals with Star Wars. We're getting a little off topic here, but with Star Wars Jedi Survivor coming out, there was an interview with IGN and the design director, Stig. Highly recommend you guys. I'm going to see if I can. Highly recommend you guys check it out. Yeah, I posted it. It's called Star Wars Jedi Survivor Director on Building Great Sequels. Hold up. Going next gen and more. I really enjoyed that. I agreed with almost everything he had to say. And can really relate with a lot of things he said, actually. Definitely respect for that interview, though. Highly, if you guys have the extra time, I would check it out. If you guys are interested in Jedi Survivor and the background stuff and things of what's going on with the team and developers and all that good stuff. But yes, back to Bad Batch. Anything else that I want to say? Not that I can think of off the top of my head. I don't know if I can give that episode my stamp yet, but it's also not like, I'm not saying I'm not going to give it. It's just one of those things that I gotta think about, and I gotta be. And normally, like with George Lucas Star Wars, basically just Star Wars in general, right? I would normally just sit here and just think about it until I came up with the answer or something that made sense. But, and that's another thing, another sad thing about Disney Star Wars is there's so much that's wrong with it. Like, I don't really care to try and figure it out. It's like, when you have to go through, like, there's a limit, right? Like, it's fun to think about these different things, right? And then there's also, like, oh, when you have to think about this and this and this, and then that still doesn't work, and then there's no possible way this could work, which happens a lot. It just kind of ruins it, you know? And it's like, am I even going to get to something, you know, and be able to make sense of this? Like with George Lucas Star Wars, I was able to do that all the time, right? Things that may seem like plot holes, right? I see it all the time, like, oh, and then, you know, there's actual explanations from behind the scenes and stuff. It's tight. It's awesome. But we don't get that. Battlefront 3, that'd be sick. But not confirmed as of right now. Battlefront 2 was a really good game in the end from EA. I agree. Obviously, it has its problems. It's not perfect, but definitely my favorite Star Wars game for sure. With Bad Batch? What with Bad Batch? Oh, yeah, with the Bad Batch episode. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. In terms of, basically the Xylo Beast is kind of... I was comparing it to what Disney Star Wars does in general. That's basically what I was saying. In terms of how they break lore a lot of the times, and compared to like George Lucas Star Wars, when it seems like something might be a plot hole or breaks lore, it really doesn't when you look into it and you think about it, right? And that's what I'm saying is, like, I can't say it's going to get my stamp or not, because it's something I got to think about. I'm kind of on the fence right now. I feel like it can go either way. I got to rewatch that Clone Wars Xylo Beast episode, and I would love to. A lot of questions that could have been answered, they didn't do it. That's maybe it might in future episodes. Who knows? And I think I'm gonna wait on that, because if they don't bring it up again, then a part of me is like, dude, why do I really want to think about this? Do I really want to spend the effort to really try, you know, and go through this rabbit hole with it? Because a lot of the times with Disney Star Wars, it just doesn't work, man. Because I've done that several times. Do you think the Empire will capture Omega? At least we're back on the main quest, or at least so it seems, right? Clone Wars Season 8? Oh, I wish, but that's not gonna happen. And if it does, it's just like... it's just so, like, why? That's the thing now, is like, all these projects that are coming out, why'd they wait over 10 years? You know? Just kind of seems like a big wasted opportunity from the jump, you know, the get-go. Same thing with the leaks. I don't know if you guys have heard the leaks of the live action, like Luke, Leia, and Han shows or something like that. It's like, bro, please don't even. I don't want Disney Star Wars to touch anything anymore when it comes to, like, I do, but I don't. And this is why. Okay, I don't, because I know they're gonna ruin the characters and just mess them up. Kind of like what they did with Boba Fett and Luke and a bunch of other characters, right? That we know and love. But at the same time, I do want to see it, because I'm like, I know the potential is there, and I know there's a chance that they may not screw up. It's a very slim chance, but I'm like, I know there's, like, if they had someone. Listen, I hate saying it, like, oh, you know, I could do way better type of deal, but it's like, when it. I don't know, maybe I'm just creative when it comes to the stories and stuff like that, but it's like, I don't even feel like it's really that, right? It just feels like people's knowledge when it comes to Star Wars, and I feel like a lot of it just comes from a business standpoint, right? Is they just put people on Star Wars projects when they haven't even seen Star Wars. It's like, we've seen that happen before, and it's like, you can't really do that when you're dealing with, like, a trilogy, you know? You're dealing with your own universe here, and they haven't seen anything to do with the universe. They're not going to know what they're doing. Like, why would you, this is stupid stuff. I don't even want to talk about it, because it's so dumb. It's not even worth my time talking about it. I already spent enough time thinking about, or not even necessarily thinking about it, but just seeing things, some of the decisions that gets made. And it's come to my attention where it's like, yeah. There we go. But yeah, I'm gonna be here, and that's why I have so like I don't want to reveal anything yet because the future for the channel is bright, and I definitely want to make there's gonna be videos on all like this stuff, movies, shows, deeper thoughts. Because with the streams, you guys kind of get my raw thoughts, where I don't think about it too much. It's kind of like my first impressions of it. But a lot of it too is I have a lot of thoughts that I want to be able to explain that I feel like I do try and explain it sometimes, but it doesn't come out the way at least it doesn't, the way I'm communicating it, it doesn't feel as connected and precise as the way I'm thinking about it. Which in a video I can be able to make that all smooth. You know what I mean? So I can't wait for the future of the channel. I'm waiting for Project Revamp here. That'll be the first thing I'm looking forward to, and I hope you guys are as well. Super hyped. I'm trying to get that to come in around June, July, maybe August if I'm really slacking, but I am really aiming for beginning of June is my go-to, and you guys will start to see that hopefully at the start of April, which is basically in 1 month. So we'll see. Yeah, they messed up Commander Cody. I feel like they messed up a lot of clones just with the and now I don't even want to get into this because I talked about this in my Bad Batch problems all the way from season 1, and it's just basically whatever the problems I had in season 1, they just start continuing in season 2. They're not answering really a lot of things. They're just continuing the plot holes, and not necessarily plot holes, but just lore breaking in general. But yeah. What is your opinion in the best Star Wars series? What do you mean by that? How? I don't have any problem with his character. What character? Oh, Commander Cody? I would just say in terms of just like the clones in general and the inhibitor chips and the route they took with that in the Bad Batch, right? Not necessarily Cody's character in general, Oh, like best Star Wars series in general? Series is okay. When you say series, I'm gonna convert that to show. Is that what you're saying? The best Star Wars show, and in that case, I would have to be Clone Wars. Easy. But if you're saying favorite, Star Wars show made by Disney, so Disney's Star Wars show, that changes because they don't get the Clone Wars credit. Which, if that's what you're asking, I don't even know if I could really give an answer yet, because they have a lot of shows started that aren't finished, and it's like I'm kind of going off of the shows and what we're getting season by season or episode by episode and season by season. But in reality, I can't really judge it entirely until the entire show is kind of done. Yes and no. Like there's lines to that take what I said in context here, okay? In terms of like the main story, because shows can be, not every episode has to be, they could answer questions at different times. They could fix lower things, things that may feel like they may be broken, they can come back and address in later stuff, which is what I'm hoping Mandalorian season 3 is, right? So like I thought the Mandalorian, if you guys actually, back when I started the channel and stuff, and you guys look at the Mandalorian reviews, I was very like okay with how the Mandalorian started. And in fact, I was very happy with it. I thought it was really good. And as it kind of progressed, I still think it's good overall, right? But I still also have some problems or at least I feel like there can definitely be a lot of existing problems that are already there in the show, but I can't quite tell if they're problems yet because the show's not done. I don't know if season 3 is going to address it. I don't know if season 4 is going to address it. And it seems like from the interviews that we've been getting with Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau, it seems like they don't even know, which is a little concerning, but not a whole lot, because I mean that's just kind of the show process in general. But they should overall have an overarching plan of what they're wanting to do or have an idea, and it seems like that's not really the case, because they're like, oh, they don't have because there are shows out there like, oh, I want it to be this many seasons, and typically if the show's good, we want it to be even more than that, and maybe they could add on and stuff, but normally there's a plan, right? Like, this is what you want to happen in the show. You want all these different things that you want to implement in it, and maybe you want to try and squeeze it in this many seasons or not. I don't know, right? But it's like, when they're like, oh, we don't know how the ending's really gonna be, and they have like, they want the show to pretty much go on as long as possible. That's awesome, but have a plan. That's how it gets messed up, And I feel like there's already plenty of examples of that shown in action between the sequel trilogy and just even the other shows that they've done. Just Disney Star Wars in general, man. I'm just going to clunk Disney Star Wars as a big old thing together because it is. A lot of it isn't. And we've seen how messed up it is. We saw that with the end of Mandalorian Season 2 in the Book of Boba. Don't tell me that's planned. Especially when they were saying that, like, they spent 2 years. Like, Grogu and Luke were together 2 years. Like, bro, what are you talking about? Seemed like a day, man. Don't tell me that conversation, the way Luke was talking to Grogu, was like knowing Grogu for 2 years. You've got to be joking me. Like, that's just stupid. That's you just trying to cover up your stupid mistake. Like, no, have a plan. And then when you mess up, take responsibility, and let it. I guess you can do one of two things. One, make it non-canon, which we all know Disney Star Wars is never going to do because then that hurts their sales. And then two, you can just let it be, I guess, if you can't make it non-canon, right? If you're like, let's say you're a part of the team, right? And you made a mistake and you now know about it, then okay, just own up. Don't try and have like other shows and stuff relate it to that. Like, it seems like that's what they're doing with like kind of what you were saying, Sobbing Bloom, right? About how they're trying to relate a lot of stuff to the sequel trilogy. Let the sequel trilogy be. Let it be, okay? If you're not going to make it non-canon, don't try and link everything to it, For what? To try and, like, get people to love it again? Like, that, it's too far, it's too far messed up. Like, you cannot go back in and fix the stuff that's there. Yeah, there's some things you might be able to answer and explain, but is that going to fix it? No, it's not going to fix it. I had a point to all of this. Well, I lost my point. I had a point to everything I was saying here. Oh yeah, it was about like planning and stuff, right? But the same thing, man. You could tell it's like you don't need to go back in and try and. I'm not saying they're doing this, but I also don't. I don't know. Maybe they might. I don't know. But I don't like the idea of that unplanned scenario of the season 2 finale, Book of Boba Fett, and season 3 everything's back to normal. It's just, and then they try and pass off that like, and Grogu's been training with. I think he phrased it like this in an interview. Jon Favreau did, like he's training with like one of the most powerful Jedi. Which, like, why would you phrase it like that for like he's been doing that for 2 years? Like, no, it's literally been like a day, dude. Which just makes it so much worse in terms of I still don't even like what they made Luke do in the Book of Boba Fett. Some people do, and I've heard some okay explanations, but they still don't really work with his character, in my opinion. Because if Luke's gonna do an option like that, I feel like there would have had to have been a third one where you can choose both. But having him choose one or the other does not see like that's not Luke's character at all, especially from what he's learned from the original trilogy. Like, he should know that he was pretty much faced with that same thing in Empire Strikes Back, and he chose his friends. But that doesn't mean he's he's gonna turn into an Anakin. It's like, no, he saw the little bit of good in like the most evil person in the galaxy other than Emperor Palpatine, Vader, which everyone would have never seen any ounce of good in him, even Obi-Wan and Yoda, right? And to show, like, hey, I can be a real Jedi, I can be a true Jedi, and willing to die for it, like, that's Luke. I don't know what the junk they're trying to do, man. But whatever. A spin-off show called Mandalore will come out after season 4. Oh, there's so many crazy leaks out there. This is, it depends on who leaks it, right? And obviously, I'm more of a confirmed guy. I don't believe all those leaks out there. And even if some of them are true, it doesn't even matter because so many projects get canceled and stuff. Literally, let's just talk about the confirmed stuff for a second here, right? And we go back to Star Wars Celebration, where you had Kathleen Kennedy come up on stage, and there was like all that Star Wars stuff behind her. I know the shot because I actually put that in my channel trailer, where a lot of those projects we haven't gotten yet, which is fine because it takes time to work on things. I'm not trying to tell them to rush. That's fine. I don't mind waiting. I'll have some patience. You know what I mean? But how many of those have gotten canceled already? And that's confirmed stuff. So take that as you will. Yeah, I know, but there. Okay, listen. Someone, and you got to take in consideration what you would consider a credible leaker, right? Because what I consider a credible leaker is someone whose percentage is high up in terms of the amount of predictions and things that they say. So what I mean by that is like if they say a leak or something that isn't confirmed, and they have like over a 90%, like almost all the time of what they're saying is pretty much on point. Okay, that's more of a credible leaker. But then when you have leakers that, I don't know, say like 1,000 things and maybe a few of them come true, that doesn't make him a credible leaker, Yo, what's going on, Southern? Nice to have a Great Battalion member in chat, man. Just saying hello again. Well, hello there. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Yeah, man, I thought both the Bad Batch episodes and the Bad Batch episode and the Mandalorian episode were pretty good. Not gonna say every second of it was perfect, but overall, I mean, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed both of them. It seems on the Bad Batch, we got a lot of what do you call it? Easter eggs, and callbacks between the two, which is cool, I made a little joke of it in the Mandalorian one, right? When you had like Babu Frick's species, when that came out, I made a little joke. I don't really hate that, you know what I mean? But it's just, yeah. There's a line, but I feel like overall it was good. There was still that lazy writing in Bad Batch a couple times, like the conversation at the end, which I thought was annoying, making the Kaminoan seem like he's stupid. Same thing with Tech when he's supposed to be like one of the smartest ones there, and making him seem really stupid with Sid. Like I don't get that. Why are you making your character sound stupid? They're smarter than that. It just feels out of character at that point. It's just like all to push a story a certain direction. It's like, there's some lines. That's all I'm saying. But overall, good episodes. Definitely, at the very least, in terms of the Bad Batch, for this episode, fourth best one of the season. At the very least, it could be higher, but at least in the top 4 for sure. I'm glad to hear that you at least enjoyed it better than the last episode. Oh yeah, for sure, definitely, because at least it still had some good stuff, and the Mandalorian stuff as well. That conversation at the end too, with the Mandalorian. I just want him to dive deeper into that and answer more questions because people like barely. We got a little bit. I got a taste, man. And I'm super hyped with that. I hope they start going that direction. Although story-wise, I have no idea why they wasted the episode of him going to Navarro. I mean, I get it, Kreef Garga and stuff, but I bet you we're gonna see him again anyways. Like, it didn't really make much sense for how they started it out, and then him going to Navarro, and then it almost felt like they were wanting to drag it out on purpose, which feels a little weird. But it is what it is. I mean, I guess they added the IG-11 thing, but I still don't understand why he needs them. They didn't really answer that either, but who knows? We might see in the future. That's the thing about the shows, right? Is we might actually get more of those questions that I have answered in the next episode, or, who knows, maybe even the next season. But that is going to do it for the stream. I think that kind of covers my overall, quick thoughts, raw thoughts, first impressions of The Mandalorian and the Bad Batch. I hope you guys enjoyed them as well. And I will see you guys on Saturday. May the Force be with you. Always.